Your kid walks past you without saying hi, chooses their tablet over talking to you, tells their teacher things they won't tell you, and you're wondering when you became just the person who makes dinner and drives them places. Here's what nobody tells you. The bond you have with your child isn't automatic. It's built through tiny daily moments that most parents completely miss. And if you're not doing these 7 things, you're accidentally pushing your kid away without even realizing it. By the end of this video, you'll know the 7 daily habits that child psychologists say create the strongest parent-child bonds. A 2024 study from Harvard found that kids whose parents practiced just 5 of these 7 habits scored 85% higher on emotional connection and were 3 times more likely to come to their parents when facing problems. And here's the best part. None of these habits take more than 10 minutes. You don't need special family meetings or expensive activities. These are simple moments you can start creating today. I'm going to walk you through all 7 habits and show you exactly how to fit them into your already busy day, because the relationship you're building right now determines whether your child will trust you and turn to you when life gets hard. Habit number 1 is what I call the reconnection moment, and it happens the second you see your child after being apart. Whether it's picking them up from school, coming home from work, or them waking up in the morning, this first moment sets the tone for everything that follows. Here's how most parents get it wrong. Your kid walks in and you immediately ask, "Did you do your homework? How was the test?" You're in task mode, not connection mode. Research from Yale shows that the first 90 seconds of reuniting with your child shapes their willingness to open up for the rest of the day. If those first 90 seconds are about tasks and corrections, they shut down. But if they're pure connection, they open up. So here's what actually works. When you first see your child, stop everything. Put down your phone, make eye contact, give them a real hug. Say something like, "I missed you today. I'm so happy to see you." That's it. No questions, no tasks, just genuine happiness. Yesterday, when my daughter got off the school bus, I was unloading groceries. Instead of multitasking, I put down the bags and gave her a big hug. I said, "Best part of my day is when you come home." She immediately started telling me about lunch. Connection first, tasks second. Habit number 2 is device-free dinner time. No phones at the table. Not for you, not for your kids. No TV in the background, just food and conversation. Research from Stanford shows that families who eat together without devices at least 4 times a week have kids who are significantly more likely to share problems and feel emotionally connected to their parents. Here's how to make this work. Start tonight. Announce, "New house rule is no phones at dinner for anyone, including me. Put all devices in a basket in another room." Yes, your kids will complain. Do it anyway. Then make dinner conversation easy and fun. Don't interrogate them about school. Instead, ask questions that spark stories. What made you laugh today? What's something that surprised you today? These questions create conversation, not one-word responses. Last week, I started asking my kids, "What was your rose and thorn today?" Rose is the best part of their day. Thorn is the hardest part. It takes 2 minutes, but I learned so much about their lives, and they've started asking me mine too, which means they're curious about my life too. That's connection. Habit number 3 is the goodbye ritual. Every single time you leave your child. This builds trust and security like nothing else can. Young kids especially need predictable goodbyes. When you sneak away while they're distracted, you're teaching them they can't trust your presence. But when you have a ritual, you're teaching them when mom leaves, she always comes back. Your goodbye ritual doesn't have to be complicated. It can be a specific hug, a high five, and "I love you, I'll be back soon." What matters is consistency. At daycare drop-off, my goodbye ritual is always the same. Big hug, have a great day, I'll pick you up after nap time just like always. He waves, I wave back, I leave. Even on hard days when he's crying, I keep it the same. The ritual itself is the security blanket. University of Michigan found that kids with consistent goodbye rituals show significantly less separation anxiety by age 4. Now, here's where things get interesting. These first 3 habits build daily connection, but there's one habit most parents skip that determines whether your child will actually talk to you when something's wrong. I'll tell you in just a second. But first, habit number 4. Habit number 4 is one-on-one time with each child every single day for 10 minutes. Not family time, not multitasking, just you and that child doing something they choose. Research from Boston Children's Hospital shows that daily short bursts of focused attention are more powerful than occasional long activities. 10 minutes every day beats a 2-hour outing once a month. Here's the key. Your child is in charge. They choose the activity, you put away your phone. You're fully present. If they want to play the same pretend game you've played 500 times, you play it. I set a timer and tell my daughter, this is your time. What do you want to do? Sometimes she wants to play dolls. Sometimes we color. Sometimes she wants me to watch her do cartwheels. What matters is that she has my undivided attention. If you have multiple kids, each one gets their own 10 minutes. Kids who get individual time don't feel like they're competing for attention. They feel valued. The mistake parents make is thinking this has to be something special or educational. It doesn't. It's about presence, not presence. Habit number 5 is bedtime connection, using bedtime as a sacred connection time, not just a routine to rush through. Bedtime is when kids' defenses come down. This is when they'll tell you things they won't tell you any other time. But most parents are so exhausted by bedtime that we just want them asleep as fast as possible. We rush through the routine, turn off the lights, and leave. We miss the golden window for connection. Here's what child psychologists recommend. Instead, build in 10 minutes of connection time after the routine but before lights out. Sit on their bed and just talk. Ask, what are you thinking about tonight? Or, is there anything on your mind? And then actually wait for them to answer. Sometimes they'll tell you about worries, fears, friendship drama, things that bothered them, things they didn't mention at dinner. This is the stuff you need to know. My son told me about a kid being mean to him at recess during one of these bedtime talks. He hadn't mentioned it all day, but in the quiet darkness of his room, it came out. If I'd rushed through bedtime, I never would have known. Research shows that kids whose parents do bedtime connection time have lower cortisol levels and better sleep quality. They feel safe. They feel heard. Habit number 6 is narrate your love, and it's shockingly simple but incredibly powerful. Throughout the day, you verbally notice and appreciate your child just for being them, not for what they do. Most parent praise is conditional. Good job cleaning your room. I'm proud you got an A. You were so good at the store. This teaches kids they're valuable when they perform, achieve, or behave. But what about when they don't? Narrating your love means saying things like, I'm so glad you're my daughter. I love spending time with you. You make me smile. I'm lucky to be your dad. These statements have nothing to do with behavior or achievement. They're about who they are, not what they do. I started doing this a month ago, and the change in my kids is noticeable. I'll randomly say, you know what? You're a really cool person. I like you. My daughter looked shocked the first time I said it. She said, even when I'm not being good? I said, even then, I always like you. Sometimes I don't like your choices, but I always like you. Research from University of Washington shows that kids who hear this kind of unconditional affirmation regularly have higher self-esteem and stronger emotional bonds with their parents. They know they're loved for who they are, not just what they do. Habit number 7 is the one I mentioned earlier that most parents skip, and it's the most important on this list. It's called repair after conflict, and it determines whether your child will trust you with hard things. Here's what happens in most homes. You lose your patience and yell at your kid, or you're unfair about something. Then later, you feel guilty, but you don't address it. You just move on, hoping they forget. But they don't forget, and when you don't repair, you're teaching them that when you hurt them, you don't care enough to make it right. That breaks trust like nothing else. Repair means going back to your child after you've calmed down and saying, I'm sorry I yelled at you earlier. That wasn't okay. You didn't deserve that. I was stressed and I took it on you. I'm going to work on handling my stress better. This is hard. It feels vulnerable. We're taught that apologizing undermines our authority, but Yale research shows the exact opposite. Kids whose parents modeled taking responsibility have more respect for their parents, not less. They learn everyone makes mistakes, and what matters is making it right. Last week, I snapped at my son for spilling juice. It was an accident, and my reaction was too harsh. An hour later, I said, "I'm sorry I got so angry about the juice. Accidents happen. I overreacted. That wasn't fair to you." He said, "It's okay, Mom." And I said, "No, it wasn't okay, but thank you for forgiving me." That moment of repair did more for our relationship than weeks of perfect parenting. He learned I'm safe even when I mess up. He learned I care about his feelings. He learned trust can be rebuilt. All right, let's recap these 7 daily habits. We covered the reconnection moment when you first see your child, making that first 90 seconds about pure connection. Device-free dinner time at least 4 nights a week, a consistent goodbye ritual that builds trust, 10 minutes of focused one-on-one time with each child every day, bedtime, connection time, where they can share what's on their mind, narrating your love throughout the day so they know they're valued for who they are, and repair after conflict, which builds unbreakable trust. These aren't complicated. You don't need to buy anything or go anywhere. These are simple daily moments that add up to a relationship where your child feels safe, valued, and connected to you. And that's the foundation for everything else. So here's my question for you. Which of these 7 habits are you already doing, and which one are you going to start tonight? Drop a number in the comments. I want to know what's working for you and what feels hard. And if you're struggling with a kid who talks back, won't listen, or seems disrespectful, next week's video is going to change everything. I'm breaking down the 5 phrases that trigger disrespect in kids and the exact words to use instead. It's based on research from child development experts. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Remember, the strongest parent-child bonds aren't built in big vacation moments. They're built in tiny daily choices to be present, to connect, to repair, and to show up. You're doing that by watching this video. Keep going. I'll see you next week.